Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the video. In this video, I'm giving you guys a spoiler review of episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. So I know I didn't do a watch party this morning. My watch party software was not working, but I'll be doing a watch party this upcoming Friday for the Peacemaker show coming on HBO Max. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. And again, this is going to be a spoiler review, so you have been warned. This episode I actually really did love. I genuinely just had a fun time the whole time. I would say last episode was just way longer than this, but I had a lot more fun with the last episode. With that being said, for this being a shorter episode and me still having just as much fun with it, it says a lot in my opinion. I think last episode was definitely carried by the whole train sequence and them hijacking it, and that's cool. That's all great. But story-wise and stuff actually moving forward-wise and real character development for the future Book of Boba Fett, this episode did it a lot better in my opinion. And that's the biggest thing with this episode, is that it felt like it balanced the past and the present a lot better than any of the other episodes, especially since this was a shorter one. They really did just they barely had flashbacks, and it worked really well because in the present day we actually built new connections with the group of thieves and how they're now working for the Boba Fett. But I also did like what they did with the flashback in this episode, and it wasn't too long. The first two episodes of flashbacks were the majority of the episode, but this time it was actually different. The minority was the flashbacks, but I really enjoyed the flashbacks did. The flashback came right at a time of conceptualization for the character, like kind of like understanding his past for something that's going to come in the future. And obviously we found out that he had flashbacks to a moment where the tribe that he was with last episode, I forgot their name, but that they basically got like ransacked and everything got stolen, people were killed from that tribe, all that kind of stuff. And then he wakes up and it's instantly action for the next like 5 minutes. Such a great action sequence. I forgot what the character name is. I think it starts with a K, but it's the black and gray Chewbacca bodyguard type of character. That fight was great. Overall, I did like the action in this episode, but I would say the last episode, it was definitely way longer. It was like almost an hour long, but the action kept me engaged the entire time. This time was definitely a shorter episode, but the action still kept me just as engaged, even if sometimes it felt a little bit too rushed or a little bit like weirdly paced within the action. Still kept me very engaged within this shorter story, which is kind of why I would say this is the best episode so far. But I just enjoyed the action in the second episode a little bit more. Story wise though, this episode was just really good. I don't have much to say about the story itself because I'm not too much of a Star Wars lore person, but I will say I really like what they did with the Hutt twins and how they sent the Chewbacca type of character, and then they gave Boba Fett a gift kind of as a peace treaty. But I also do think that the Hutt twins are going to end up being bad and maybe working with the mayor. That's just my guess, because I feel like the Hutt twins can't be good. I feel like they're going to be up to something, and so I feel like that they'll probably be siding with the mayor, and they probably gave Boba some wrong information. I also thought that the creature they gave Boba would turn out to be evil or like ramsack Boba and his like palace and stuff like that. That wasn't the case. Maybe it'll happen later in the show because we still have, I think, like 4 more episodes left, so we still have a little bit of time to go. We have almost 4 whole hours of content left, so I'm still very excited to see what they do with not just Boba but the characters around Boba, to be honest, because even Fennec, she's an absolutely great character. Like I mentioned before, the thieves that we got introduced to before earlier in this episode are also great. And talking about the thieves, the final sequence in this episode with the car chase type of thing, like the motorcycle chase but inside the city, that's a phenomenal scene in my opinion. It's not action like it was last episode. I'm just saying last episode, that train fight was so good. I was laughing, like having a fun time the entire time. I was really enthralled in the action. And this episode, the action was good. It just felt kind of weird, I guess. Like there was like the Chewbacca fight, for example. I'm just gonna call him Chewbacca. The Chewbacca fight, for example, it felt just very like slow and weirdly paced, and I think it's because that's Boba Fett's fighting style. And I've noticed that whenever he's not in his Boba Fett costume, the fighting seems to be a little bit more dragged out, if that makes sense. And I don't mind it. It's just I love the faster paced Boba Fett fighting as well. And on top of that, we had the car chase the motorcycle chase at the end of the episode, which was really great in my opinion. But other than that, don't have too many thoughts on this episode. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. Again, I would say it's the best in the episode so far, but my favorite has to be episode 2 just because of the action in that episode. This episode did have great writing and had a great balance between the past and the present. Obviously, being more present in this episode, it actually moved forward the storyline a lot more, and I really did enjoy it. Let me know what you guys thought of episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.